Hello and welcome to Cricket Happenings, dear friends and subscribers. On this part of the cricket show, it's going to be the first one-day international between India and South Africa, where the captains on both the sides making centuries, but the winning captain was the Indian captain Virat Kohli. What an innings he played today to notch his 33rd century of his Test career, despite du Plessis scoring a century for South Africa. Kohli did something brilliant and won the game for India. Yes, Ajinkya Rahane was the other one who gave him good support, and India made the total of the South Africans seem a bit low as well, with notching up a victory by 6 wickets and taking a 1-0 lead in the 6-match ODI series. So good beginning for India in the ODI series here at Kingsmead in Durban. I'll have a look at that. And we'll look at Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, which I said yesterday, Mominul Haq was the hero. But today I did not last. He just lasted just one run. But what was good about the Bangladeshi batting was that they managed to get 513 on the board. And the Sri Lankans gave them a really, I would say, a very firm reply when they were 187 for 1 with Dhananjay de Silva getting his 4th Test century, and he was still unbeaten at that. So that definitely says, so right now the pitch is playing. But I will talk about it. There has been some turn as well, which was discerned. And also, we'll have a look at the first big semi-final and the Big Bash League in Australia, where Perth Scorchers, the reigning champions, were pushed out of the Big Bash League when Hobart Hurricanes reached the finals, became the first team to reach the finals of the Big Bash League, and I'm inviting the Melbourne Renegades versus Adelaide Strikers, a match which will happen probably tomorrow, and so they will be facing the winners of that particular match. But as I said, I will start off with the first ODI between India and South Africa, played at Kingsmead in Durban. What one saw was that South Africa won the toss, and du Plessis did not have the slightest of hesitations to get his wards into bat first. Well, it all started off with Quinton de Kock and Amla walking at the crease, and India got their first breakthrough when Hashim Amla trapped, Jasprit Bumrah trapped Hashim Amla LBW for 16 of 17, dealt with 1-4. Quinton de Kock got into some sort of touch, I would say, but he was soon a victim. Virat Kohli did not waste time in bringing the spinners on. He brought the spinners on, I think it was in the 15th over that he had already introduced the spin, and it was Chahal actually getting Quinton de Kock LBW for 34 of 49, dealt with 4 fours. Du Plessis was joined in by the new man Markram, but Markram, even though he got an opportunity here, he could not really capitalize on that particular innings, as Markram's wicket was taken by Yuzvendra Chahal. India decided to go with both the spinners, and what a good decision it was, with Yuzvendra Chahal, the leggy, on one end, and the Chinaman bowler Kuldeep Yadav on the other end. I would say they throttled the South African innings. Not only throttled them, they also purchased the wickets. So with 20 overs bowled in between them, they gave 79 runs away and picked up 5 wickets. A very good bowling spell. The spinners were the ones who were really putting the brakes on the South Africans. At one end, du Plessis was still playing the strokes, and he was looking his own self there. But at the other end, wickets were falling. So Markram was out for 9 of 21 deliveries with no fours and any sixes. JP Duminy could not read a wrong one from Kuldeep Yadav, got his stump shattered. He was gone for 12 of 18, doubles with 1-4. David Miller, playing away from his body to a ball from Kuldeep Yadav, gave a catch to Kohli, and then definitely du Plessis required some support. It came in the form of Chris Morris, the 2 all-rounders. Chris Morris making 37 of 43 deliveries, 4 fours and 1 6. Felukayo definitely was still there till the end, but du Plessis, after contributing 120, perished of 112 deliveries, 11 fours and 2 sixes, with Kumar getting his wicket. Feluquaya was not out on 27 of 33 balls, 1-4, 1-6. Rabada was run out for 1. Morkel was not a note, and 269 for 8 was what the South Africans posted on the board. And let me tell you, this pitch was not a very turning wicket at all, but I thought one has to really credit Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav of bowling a very good tight line and a wonderful line to keep the South Africans at bay. The Bhuvneshwar Kumar 10 overs, 1 minute 1 for 71. Bumrah 10 overs, 1 for 56. Pandya 7 overs was costly for 41 runs. Yuzvendra Chahal 10 overs, none, no maiden, 45 runs and 2 wickets. Kuldeep Yadav 10 overs, no maiden, 34 runs and 3 wickets. More economical, Kedar Jadhav bowled 3 overs for 19. Now India were given a target of 270 to chase in 50 overs and India did not have a good beginning as Rohit Sharma, the opener, fell a victim pretty early to a ball from Morne Morkel. He was caught behind by Quinton de Kock for 20 of 30, there was 2 fours and 1 6. And Shikhar Dhawan was looking in very good touch where he was hitting boundaries pretty easily and quickly, and he had already reeled off 6 boundaries in a knock of 35 29 deliveries. When this happened, when Shikhar Dhawan was run out by a Markram throw, and he was pretty livid with himself, he was run out for 35. Virat Kohli and Rahane were at the crease. So 67 for 2 when both the openers were back in the pavilion, and Virat Kohli and Rahane had to definitely do a repair job there. They not only did a repair job, and it all started up. Rahane was looking pretty confident with his stroke making at the other end. Virat Kohli was the man to watch. Look at what a partnership they put on from 67 for 2. Both Kohli and Rahane putting on 180 odd runs. It's basically, if you see, it's 189 runs to be precise between for the third wicket, with Virat Kohli adopting such an approach where when Morne Morkel and Rabada were bowling at full pace, he was look at the approach that Virat Kohli had. He was standing outside the crease to negate their bowling, and he had the temerity to even go and loft them into open territory, placing the ball, and he took it on. He showed a lot of bravado to come and bat outside the crease to the bowling of Rabada and Morne Morkel, and Ajinkya Rahane on the other hand was giving good company, and then Ajinkya Rahane was also playing some pleasing strokes as he normally does, and this partnership kept on worrying the South Africans, and the worry finally turned out to be absolutely true, as Virat Kohli's contribution was 112 of 119 deliveries, 10 fours in that knock, only 10 fours. So you could see how he has rotated the strike, and he has been very good. In fact, he has been playing some nice ground strokes as well, keeping the ball on the ground, on the carpet, I would say, and Ajinkya Rahane was also looking very good. And Virat Kohli's contribution as a 33rd century of his one-day international career, the 18th century in successful chases by Virat Kohli, and with this particular century that he scored, what Virat Kohli has done is he has scored centuries against all nations whom he has played in one-day international cricket. Ajinkya Rahane's contribution was a very important 79 of 86 balls, 5 fours and 2 sixes, which was the glue to which the Indian batsmen, the glue to which the Indian innings was stuck, I would say. And finally, they won the match with the formalities being Pandya not out 3, Dhoni finishing it off with a superb swat through square leg of the bowling of Rabada for 4 of 3 deliveries, and it was all over. India had won the match. India won the match by 6 wickets, taking 1-0 lead, thus also ending the 17 match winning streak by South Africa in one-day internationals. So India ending that streak for South Africa here, and India would be absolutely jubilant there that they could actually get the first win under their belt and open the series with a real bang. Morgan Chan was 1 for 35, Rabada 9.3 overs, no match, none 48. Chris Morris 7 overs 52 was ranked today. Imran Tahir 10 overs none for 51. So that was a battle. Imran Tahir could not win against the Indians. Philip Wayo 8 overs 2 for 42. I thought he bowled well. Dumini 2 overs none for 16. Markram 2 overs no made and none for 20. So that was the story as far as the first ODI was concerned between India and South Africa. So it's a 6-match ODI series, and India have already taken the lead in this ODI series. Now we shift on to Bangladesh, where at Chittagong, the Sri Lankans, Bangladesh resumed on their overnight score with Mominul Haq in the middle, but Mominul Haq could not contribute much. He just added 1 run before being a victim. So probably one thought that probably he would be going to his going to a double century for the first time, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So Bangladesh, but the thing is that they made 513 after that Mahmudullah was the one after the exit of Mominul Haq, the captain, who really held the innings together and could not receive much support from the Bangladeshi lower order, but nevertheless he was there at the end, not out on 83 with 7 fours and 2 sixes. Mosaddegh Hussain was out for 8, 20 to Mehdi and Miraz with 1 4 and 1 6. Sunzamul Islam was making his debut, contributed 24 with 1 4, and finally Tajul Islam was bowled by Herat for 1 and Mustafa Zood for 8 to the bowling of Lakmal, and the Sri Lankan, the Bangladesh innings wound up at 513. So they were all out for 113. 3 wickets for Lakmal, 3 wickets for Rangana, and 2 wickets for Sandakan with 1 to Dilruwan Pereira. So Sri Lanka started their reply. Karunaratne and Mendes walking in, but as you know, the Bangladesh have always been having a lot of faith in Mehdi and Miraz, the right arm offie, and we all know he's a quality bowler, there's no doubt about it. So he was thrust in pretty early by the captain, and he did not disappoint his captain, as Karunaratne was the first victim, caught by Imrul Kais on the bowling of Mehdi and Miraz for naught. So that was not for 1. But after that, there was no looking back for Sri Lanka, as 2 talented blokes from the Sri Lankan team really did the job, especially Dhananjay de Silva, who was absolutely at ease against the Bangladeshi bowlers. Whether it was the spinners, whether it was pace, it didn't matter. He continued to play his strokes with gay abandon, and he was in no problems whatsoever at all, as he collected 104, his 4th Test century. I was not out on 104 at stumps with 15 very well played and well timed boundaries. At the other end, Kushal Mendes, who has been struggling for form of late, finally hit his straps at the right time, as he was not out on 83 at close of play with 6 fours and 1 6, and the score for Sri Lanka was 187, and also the second wicket partnership was an unbroken 187 runs, and they would be resuming on the morrow. They know that Sri Lanka still the job is still not even half done. They have to still do a lot, because there's a lot of runs separating, as you know. It's almost like 320 odd runs still separating Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka know their work is still cut out. They still have a lot of batting to come, no doubt about it. But this pair, according to me, has to really go the distance because as you know, Sri Lankans are the ones who will be. And also let me tell you that we could see that the pitch was gripping. There was grip on the pitch. There was some turn. There was some bounce. So that definitely says that the 4th and 5th day, one could definitely see the pitch crack a bit, and the Sri Lankans were the Sri Lankans would be the ones who would be batting last on this wicket. And as you know, the Bangladesh have been stocked with a lot of spinners. Sunzamul Islam, the left arm spinner, Mehdi and Miraz is there, the right arm offie, Tajul Islam, Mosaddegh Hussain. So definitely there's a lot of work to do for Sri Lanka for sure. And Bangladesh should be hoping that they could get some quick wickets tomorrow in the morning. Well, so that is as far as but definitely credit to Sri Lanka. But one does not one knows that batting was not very easy, I would say, on the second day. But I think the Sri Lankan batsmen Dhananjay Silva and Kushal Mendes are to be really credited for the way they played against the Bangladeshi bowlers. Mustafiz Rahman 7 overs 1 minute, none for 31, none for 51, 45. Mehdi Hassan, Taijul Islam, none for 56. Now we go on to the Big Bash League in Australia, where the first semi-finals of the Big Bash League was played, and as you know, Perth Scorchers are the reigning champions. But today the Perth Scorchers were given an exit out of the semi-finals by Hobart Hurricanes. What a tremendous batting by the Hobart Hurricanes, especially one has to talk about Matthew Wade, who was the player of the match. What an innings from him. I mean, he was absolute dynamite, I would say. He crashed 71 of just 45 deliveries, 10 fours and 1 6. And, like as far as Matthew Wade was concerned, well, for him, it didn't matter. He really went after the opening pair of Mitchell Marsh and Mitchell Johnson. And Mitchell Johnson hit for 4 boundaries in a single over, which really riled him. He had a few words with Matthew Wade. But Matthew Wade was not interested in the conversation. And Mitchell Marsh and Mitchell Johnson really, and also Jay Richardson, went for some severe bruising from Matthew Wade's bat. He was hitting it through the line, and he was hitting it with a tremendous force. And I thought this experiment of getting Matthew Wade as an opener for Hobart Hurricanes has really, really crystallized. And he made 71 of just 45 deliveries, 10 fours and 1 6, which really stung the Perth Scorchers, as they had 44 for 1 after Payne's exit in the 5th over. And then Tim Pate made 4, Bailey making 17, the captain. But Ben McDermott was the one who bruised them further. After Matthew Wade bruised them at the top, it was now the turn of Ben McDermott to turn it on. He absolutely rammed the bowlers to make a very scorching 67 unbeaten runs of 30 deliveries with 4 fours and 6 sixes. And he got some company from Daniel Christian, who made 37. He was run out for 22 balls, 4 fours, 2 sixes. And it was the Hobart Hurricanes onslaught that led them to 210 for 4 of their 20 overs. If you look at the bowling from the Perth Scorchers bowlers, it really was smashing stuff. Mitchell Marsh, 4 overs, was smashed for 53. Mitchell Johnson disappeared for 43 of his 4s, a very rare sight, as we all know. But credit to Matthew Wade, who really rammed Mitchell Johnson. Richardson, 4 overs, none for 37. Kelly, 4 overs, 1 for 34. Bresnan, 4 overs, 2 for 40. As far as the Perth Scorchers were concerned, well, there was no real zing at the top, I would say. And the final verdict was that the Hurricanes actually winning by a handsome margin of 71 runs and marching into the finals, the Hobart Hurricanes. As far as the Scorchers were concerned, Michael Klinger, who had a great last season, could contribute only 15 of 11 balls, 1 4, 1 6. Sean Marsh looked good. He was stroking the ball perfectly and neatly to make 30 of just 18 deliveries, 6 fours. He was absolutely on the job. But look at that upper middle order, how it crashed. Bancroft was out for 1, Marsh for 3. What a catch taken by Jofra Archer, who continues to really impress one and all in the game of cricket with his athletic fielding as he lunged forward and picked a catch. Mitchell Marsh was surprised to the bowling of Christian. Turner 2, Cartwright made 4, 3 to Adam Borges, and only an innings of no avail. Tim Bresnan making 43 of 26, 4 fours and 1 6. But it was all over. It was Hobart Hurricanes being the first team in the Big Bash League to get into the finals. Rogers had 3 for 31, 4 wickets for 17 for Daniel Christian, and it was all about Matthew Wade and Ben McDermott, who really hammered the Perth Scorchers bowlers to absolute smithereens. Well, dear fans and subscribers, that's about time for me to end this cricket show for today by promising you with more to come on my next cricket happening show, which will be tomorrow. This is good night from here.